Carousel consignment, San Francisco is a change of pace, a walkway into another world. At a minimum, another dimension. They sell vintage, antique furniture, clothes, and decors for years. Whether it be vintage, antique, modern, novelty, you name it, they almost sell everything.
Like, what inspired you to open the carousels in Mission Area?
Well, my partner and I both have lived in the Mission for a long time, so there was no question about where we wanted to open. And we were just both at a point in our lives where we could either continue working for someone else at jobs that we weren't really thrilled with, or figure out how to open our own business.
Vintage could be different or the same, but Carousel's vintage goods are definitely distinguished from the others at Mission Street of Valencia.
What distinguishes us from some of the other vintage stores is that we are consignment. So what that means is people will email us pictures of their pieces, and if we think they will sell well, they can bring them in. We price them together, and once they sell, then we split the proceeds with them. We don't have to put out our own money to buy a bunch of inventory that may or may not sell. Our expenses low, and we feel like it's doing a service in the community.
Carousel is a small vintage store looking at Mission Street, but in some points, it seems to connect to the world.
Especially Asia, we find that a lot of collectors come from overseas and buy mid-century and Danish modern designs in particular because it's so in vogue in places like China and Taiwan, and they can get a lot of money for it. So even out here where mid-century prices are somewhat higher in the Bay Area, they can still triple or quadruple their money by shipping it back overseas and make a profit. They make a profit and we make a profit.
The owner watched the change of Mission Street since she lived at the Mission Street for a long time. There were a lot of high buildings going up in the neighborhood. Rent is rising. People are starting moving out. And some rich people started moving. But the owner of the carousel just thinks the changing is not as fast as we imagined.
It is changing, but slowly. I mean, the first day we got into the store, with our keys, after we signed the lease, there was a drive-by shooting right outside our front door. And that was about 2.5 years ago. There were a lot of people standing on the corners drinking, selling stolen goods, and that just doesn't happen anymore. So the change I'm seeing is more for the good. I feel like if the neighborhood and community is safe, that's the most important thing.